changer, coded by the blue storm. My number is 19, the power of all number. I am the master alchemist, the force behind the philosopher's stone. Skilled at the art of transmutation. I am the catalytic transformer of world consciousness and planetary living. I oversee the changes of the weather. I am the thunder that shatters your world systems. I am the transport of clouds filled with lightning to illuminate the truth behind your illusions. I am the bringer of the drenching rains that purifies, fies. It was I who caused the triple Aztec monuments of the Avatar archetype to appear in the ancient temple grounds. I oversee the morning and the evening stars. I behold the creator of the fifth sun, the present world. Sent forth am I to dwell among you, calling forth the sixth sun. For the great regeneration of the world's soul, to know me is to know your own power of self-generation. To know me is to know your own power of self-generation. Self-generation is power. I am the transport of clouds filled with lightning to illuminate the truth behind your illusions. I am the bringer of the drenching rains that purifies, fies.
All right, in Lakesh Alakim. Welcome everyone to the Journey of the Archetypes. We are streaming live on Clubhouse, Facebook, Instagram, as well as YouTube. And so I'm glad to be here. We have some powerful things to share. What we've been doing for the last 20 days is we've been on something called the Journey of the Galactic Archetypes. And it's been phenomenal because really, when we're talking about the journey of the galactic archetypes, we are talking about the galactic tree of life, okay, and the galactic tree of light. And this is able to position us to be able to experience glimpses of remembrance and perfectly position ourselves to evolve. That's what it's all about. And so upon looking at this, man, it just seems like it was just yesterday that we just got started with this. I've been actually working on this for the last 8 years. And just to give a little background about myself, my name is Neb Taharka Kanish Kawak, and I have been teaching this now for 8 years straight. I started teaching it very early. I just kind of got thrown into it. I like initiation by fire, obviously. And so now teaching it 18 consecutive semesters later, I'm here. And 4 years ago, I started doing one-on-one coaching because this is something that's not taught in the mainstream, and have had over 875 sessions where I've done one-on-one coaching, average hour and a half period. So it's been incredible in terms of what I've been able to discover by teaching, doing one-on-one coaching, helping other people integrate this process, as well as, just being able to experience it myself. So I'm thoroughly excited about that. And those of you who are listening on the various platforms, you are truly in for a treat. These recordings should be available on these different apps and platforms. And I'm just thoroughly excited about just what we're able to do, just to be talking about how we can position ourselves to be so much better than we were before. And I'll tell you, when I made evolving my number one priority, all of my circumstances got way smaller and less anxiety, and I became unmoved by difficult situations because I knew in the power of my remembrance, I knew in my cosmic memory, I was going to be able to overcome it. So I already knew the outcome before whatever circumstance came to me. And so it's just a great position to be in. in order to move your life forward and bring more meaning into what it is that we are experiencing here on this particular planet. So feel free to share this link and the platform with other people. I want to go ahead and start with the prayer of the seven galactic directions. This prayer is very powerful because it really puts you in a position to have the clarity that you need, to know what you need to know from within, to know how you need to transform your behavior so you can get what you want, and how to receive and prosper the fruits from your labor and prosper. And so all kind of stuff sparks off in the galaxy because of that, according to this particular cosmology. So just kind of and sit back and enjoy this session. We also are going to cover a portion of this is going to be covered by us being able to talk about the archetype. So we're going to be talking about the 20th archetype, the 20th dynamic frequency of light. And upon being able to do so, we're also going to talk about the shadow wisdom. Now, I'll caution you, the shadow wisdom, you want to pay perfect attention to that. A lot of people act like they don't have any shadow aspects of their self and their being. And I can tell you that it's not a good look if you are not in a position to do your very best with this process and understand that the way you speed up velocity of terms of what you can attract is by removing blockages. The way you remove blockages is get into the shadow aspects of what your consciousness is creating in terms of challenges for yourself and others. Okay, so we're going to talk about all that here in just a moment. So I'm very excited about that in this process. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to just 1 second here. I'm going to pull up the prayer of the seven galactic directions. And those of you that can see, read along. Those of you that can't see, if you're on Clubhouse, I definitely want you to just imagine in your mind that you can see. And another thing, if you can face the directions that we are talking about, you are definitely getting more engaged in the process. And it definitely can be very, very, very powerful for you from that particular regard. All right. So just very excited about being able to share this. All right. So let's pull up these slides here. Let's see. There we go. All right. So here we go. The prayer of the seven galactic directions. All right. There we go. From the east, house of light, may wisdom dawn in us so we may see all things in clarity. From the north, house of night, may wisdom ripen in us so we may know all from within. From the west, house of transformation, may wisdom be transformed into right action so we may do what must be done. From the south, house of the eternal sun, may right action reap the harvest so we may enjoy the fruits of planetary being. From above, house of heaven, where star people and ancestors gather, may their blessings come to us now. From below, house of earth, may the heartbeat of her crystal core bless us with the harmonies to end all war. And from the center, galactic source, which is everywhere at once, may everything be known as the light of mutual love. Ayum Unaku Eva Maya Maho. Ayum Unaku Eva Maya Maho. Ayum Unaku Eva Maya Maho. All hail the harmony of mind and nature. Ashe, Ashe, and Asheo. I say that prayer 3 to 4 times a day. And the one thing that I need, that I see, and it's been my experience, that people who have clarity, they operate with a greater degree of precision. People who realize that the answers are within, that there's a spiritual solution to every problem, and it's within us. We don't have to go. If we don't go within, we surely gonna go without. All right. Then when we get the answers from within, we understand that what we need to transform and the actions, the right actions we need to take to get what? The results that we want. If we already were taking the right action, we'd be getting the results that we wanted. If what we were doing could get us what we want, we'd already have it. So be open to change. Be open to making some adjustments to what it is that you're doing. If you've done it for an extended period of time and hadn't had the success that you want. Okay. The South is about prospering now. Right action, right? Clarity, knowing from within, and right action leads to prosperity. Prospering in your health, prosper in your finances, prospering in your relationships. Okay. And the interesting thing about relationships, I want you to understand this, that your relationships, I call them companions of destiny. This is key because I see that business or being able to prosper is all centered around the type of relationship you have and who you have relationships with. Right? Business. It's going to make the difference between if your business is thriving or if your business is in a recession. Okay. On the other hand, let's talk about health. If you're not around the right companions of destiny, they're either stressing you out or they're empowering you. Right? And I kind of look at it that way, and it ain't no in between. You either for me or against me. I'm not judging you if you're against me. I just know I can't focus on you. Let me get to where I need to be first. And if you can take that on, let me tell you, you will speed up time between you and where you are and where you want to be. Ashe? And then understand that the war, when we do that, the ancestors bless us. Okay? They shower us with blessings. All right. And then after that, we now have the power to end the war. Now, let me tell you where the war is. We're looking at the different wars physically around the globe and different things like that. But really, the war is within. The war is between the heart and mind. The war is between the masculine and feminine energy, not divine masculine, not divine feminine, because with divine is undivided. Okay. We got 23 chromosomes in our body from our male, our father, and 23 from the female. Okay. From our mother. It's not all female. It's not all male. And divinity is what brings it together through you. You see that? Through you. So when it's divine, it's combined. Right? When it's divided, it's one or the other. And there's a set of circumstances that comes with that to verify the reality of your consciousness that you're focused on. So just understand that. And then once we tap into the center of the galactic source, which is everywhere at once we bring in the light, now our consciousness can go anywhere in the entire cosmos. Are you hearing me? Your mind and your brain are different. Your brain is the hardware, the processor, right? And then your mind is consciousness. So if your mind it has the processing power to consciously process memory and boatloads of memory. The more memory you can process, the more power you can access. The more power that you can access, the more you can focus. The more you can focus on that power, the more you can create the reality from that power. And that brings you into Godship and God essence over your affairs. Ashe, did that make sense? I hope if it's making sense to you, it's going to make sense to some of the people that you know. And you need to understand this because it first needs to make sense to you. Because if you're walking around confused, it's hard to magnetize anything. And I have found from personal experience and through all this coaching that abundance doesn't flow to a conflict, judgment, right? That's actually a blocker. All right. So if you understand that as a base, I want to bring in this definition of a synchronistic human because we are truly moving from the information age into the telepathic age of our experience. Just like we went from the industrial age to the information age. Okay, so it's no different. It's not we don't need somebody in control to tell us this. It's in our consciousness. It's in our memory. In the absolute, the past and the future have already happened, and there's a gazillion alternate realities. Right now, you're doing a million different things, but your focus is right here for where you are on your journey. The past and the future have already happened. So now we are evolving into the synchronistic human so that we can allow absolute intelligence to focus on us. So we don't have to focus on artificial intelligence. They're both AI. One is a, little I, which is artificial intelligence. The big A and the big I is absolute intelligence. Which one do you think is most powerful? Which one do you think is most powerful? Artificial? That's like being disingenuous. It doesn't work. It just gives you a temporary fix for a permanent problem, and somebody else is in control of the mainframe. You can take possession of your mind and be in control of your mainframe or your cerebellum that holds 100+ million years of memory. And so don't be overconfident and overconfident and overambitious and think that you operating on 1,000,000+ years of memory. That would be being delusional, because we rely too much on these smartphones. Make sense? So now we have to tap into our human technology, and there is methods to being able to do that, to tap into the synchronic order, which is already in position working on your behold, not your behalf. That's what we need to be tapping into. If you're not tapping into that, what are you doing? What are you doing? So with that, a synchronistic human defined is someone who is able to be multidimensional while unifying the energy from the synchronicities of natural time cycles, right? The synchronicity of natural time cycles towards the holonomic evolution of humanity, Mother Earth, and the galactic whole. All right. So this is important, that when we talk about holonomic, we're talking about energetically, on the energetic side, the electrical light side of our beingness, right? We have a physical that's governed by the will. We have a etheric body that's governed by the spirit. And we have a fifth dimensional electricity and light body that's governed by the akasha, the akashic energy, which is consciousness, mind, right? And when we put it all together, we're all three of those in one body. But most of the time, we only focus on the physical. And so we're very limited, right? And then we only focus on our feelings. So we're very kinesthetic. And we focus on the feeling side of it. And then we're limited to the traumas, the bad experiences of our feelings, because that's what's going to trigger in our memory 9 times out of 10. All right. So when we're talking about we're talking about we are systems inside of larger systems. And with that, our blood cells are part of the circulatory system, right? The circulatory system, part of the body. The blood cells, for them to say, I'm not part of the body, would be ridiculous. The branches of a tree, the leaves of a tree say, I'm not part of a tree, would be ridiculous. And then they saying that while they fall into the ground, right? Right? The cells that say, I don't have a reference to the whole, is now saying, I'm cancerous, I'm a malignant cell, and I'm going to reproduce until I kill the body and kill myself. Right? So that's what happens. And so everything is just another version of ourself, right? The human is part of the biosphere. The biosphere is part of the earth. The earth is part of the solar system. And we're talking about an energetic level. This is how we can tap into these different degrees of consciousness through our mind and memory. All right. So this is what we're striving for. This is not something that you're going to hear about in a school, in a mainstream school or whatnot, because chances are, if we're talking about freeing our mind, that doesn't go along with the systematic institutions and how they operate and build this matrix that's right here behind me, right? So with that, I want to make a vision statement to transcend our minds deep into our cosmic memory circuits as we awaken. Yes, we are sleeping in a deep state of amnesia in order to move from the information age into the telepathic age of our existence and establish a new world of highly telepathic beings. Now, we've already started that process. We have a telepathic group called the Telepathic Remembrance Group, and we've had two quarters, 2 semesters that we have had so far, and we're going to do a third in the summer. So we do it in the winter and in the summer terms, all right, with the school, the Synchronistic Human School of Enlightenment. So if you're interested in finding out more about that, definitely reach out to me. We'll be starting our spring term March 28th. And so we got some powerful stuff to share. And we've integrated. So not only is it information and knowledge, it is behaviors and experience that can show how you can get it working in your life. Get up the learning curve really quickly. One of the best gifts that can be given to you is to be able to exercise full authority over your whole mind with all of its faculties and dimensions. Right? You want to be able to use your whole mind, not 1/10. When we're talking about the decimal mathematical system, we're talking about binary code. We're talking about the 10, the 1, and the 0. A decimal is another word for a fraction. So we become the mathematical system that we operate with. We follow a mathematical system that deals with fractions and i.e. decimals, then that's what will become a fraction of our being. So holarchic and whole systems are called the vigesimal system. Now, I don't have a lot of time to talk about that tonight, but it's very powerful because the natural order has a 20 count, 0 to 19. And when you start looking at those patterns and how energy flows through those patterns, it's much different than the binary code, the ones in the O's, the ones in the zeros, right? And so what we want to do is disrupt the programming. And how do we do that? Well, we found that being able to do that, we have the best way to do that by following different calendrical systems. That the Gregorian calendar is one of the primary programming agents, and it's so subtle, nobody ever questions this calendar. But 8 years ago, I went on a questioning binge, right? And I started the deeper I looked into it, the more I found. And you're going to find what you're looking for no matter what it is, because it's where your consciousness is focused before you even look, right? And so when we found that out, we found out that the moon doesn't have, just some basic things, doesn't have 12 cycles. It has 13, right? And the 13th cycle is important because it matches the female reproductive system. The menstruation cycles supposed to be 13 a year, and when normal, 28 days apart, right? So with that, 13 times 28 is 364 plus 1 day at a time. And so this is how we get in on natural time and start accessing our cosmic anatomy. Once you start knowing that, you reach a state, and what we're going to be talking about today, of enlightenment that's out of this world. And so enlightenment is pure consciousness. It's what everybody is seeking to reach. But there's so many obstacles along the way because of the different traumas and the different circumstances that's come our way. It's programmed what we call a personality or a circumstantial persona, which means our circumstances have programmed our personality, but that personality doesn't evolve. So now what's your purpose here on the earth? What are you supposed to do? Just keep in a feedback loop from the circumstances that in your personality that was created from those circumstances? Are we supposed to spiral and expand our territory in terms of our consciousness and be able to realize different gifts and powers that we have in this physical body that we've blocked by following these artificial programs that's not designed for us to be inspired, but to expire? And so if we get that, if you don't get nothing else tonight, this will prick your psyche. And you say, you know what? I don't understand everything that guy with the funny name said. I don't. But what he said made a lot of sense. And I can't act like what he said didn't make sense. And so what is the next step for somebody like that? To go deeper into it and to make it your own. Okay? So let's go deeper into this. Whoever owns your time, and in this sense, time is the evolution of consciousness, owns your mind. Change your time, change your consciousness, and change your mind. And guess what happens? When you change your mind, you change your universe. You change your world. My first command to you who are listening is take back possession of your mind. Don't let your feelings take over your mind. Your feelings will tell your mind what to do. Your emotions will tell your mind what to do. Your best friend, your worst enemy will tell your mind what to do. And if you knew what your mind was and how powerful it was, you wouldn't let nothing tell it what to do but you. The essence of God and the power of God in you in this moment. And you'll roll right over what's ever in your way. I like to say it becomes part of the steamroller or part of the pavement, right? So we have so much going on, and I'm so glad to be the founder of this school, the Synchronistic Human School of Enlightenment. And we're not going to spend a lot of time on that. But if you're somebody that's looking to evolve, you in the right space, in the right time, and in the right mind. All right. So don't let this moment in time pass you up. The agenda, we're going to get into vibrational alignment, talk a little bit about the 13 moon calendar, today's archetype, today's galactic signature. We're going to do a Mayan Oracle reading. We'll talk about that, make a few announcements, and we're going to be out of here in about 20 to 25 minutes from now. All right, so let's get into it. The 1328 is a frequency, right, that runs constant in our sector of the galaxy. These are the 13 lunation cycles. Well, when I say lunation cycles, what am I talking about? This is how long it takes the moon to revolve around the earth. So, right? So that's the little hand on the clock, on the consciousness, in the consciousness, right? Then we have the solar cycle. It's 365 days. What does that represent? Well, that represents how long it takes the earth to revolve around the what? The sun. Now we have those two cycles going on. That is what's causing us, following those cycles, to go deeper into our memory, right? Those two cycles, right? We're going to start with there. And then there's a third cycle. And this third cycle, right, is a very powerful cycle. It's a 260-day cycle. And this 260-day cycle is very, very, very powerful, all right? Because this is really the time it took you from inception to incarnation. Inception to incarnation, right? So when you were conceived and when you were born is about a 260-day cycle, roughly. And so this is where you go through each of the 260 faces of the Creator. And as a result of that, you now are able, in your memory, know how, in this journey of remembrance, to get to the different states of enlightenment. Here's what I discovered. The people who are reaching different states of enlightenment, they don't experience the same thing people at shame experiences, or people who are at a state of apathy or fear or guilt. They don't experience the same things. Their realities are different. And so if you don't like the reality that you're in right now, you want to be able to take and shift to a new level of consciousness so that you can evolve. And now you're in a different mindset relative to the circumstances that you've drawn into your life. All right? This is important. This is mind teaching, right? And so we synchronize your brain, or our brains, with these cosmic cycles, and it opens up different perspectives that we hadn't seen it before. That's why we call it the whole mind perceiver, or the hollow mind perceiver, that we're perceiving things with the whole mind instead of just a portion of our mind like we did before. Is that making sense? Hope that's making sense to you. All right. And then now look at here. So this is what we call the synchronometer. And what this is, it looks like a calendar, but it's synchronizing those three cycles that I'm talking about. All right. The 3 here is saying, oh, let's back up. The 3 here is saying that this is the 3rd day and we substitute the word day and replace it with the word plasma. So we're talking about energy because we're not in the days. So we're kind of on the schematics, right? And so with that, let's see here. 1 second. All right. Okay. So I'm back. So with that, we're looking at this three, and each of these red numbers, these gray numbers, these blue numbers, and the yellow numbers, they have some real significance here. There's some serious things going on energetically that's being recorded on this synchronometer. So we become an instrument of synchronicity, right? A calendar just accounts for, right? They started the calendar to account for taxes. And this was the beginning and the dawn of the age of what? Capitalism and the time is money paradigm. Well, that's an illusion. Time isn't money. Time is better than money because time is the evolution of consciousness. And as you keep on evolving your consciousness, you can have all the money that you want to have. If you can be responsible for the karma that you create with it, that's the whole key. Or don't keep with it. All right. So the number 3 is right here. So it's the third plasma. It's called gamma. All right. You can see it's Saturday. It's synced up with Saturday on the Gregorian calendar. And then you see 3-9, right? That's the Gregorian date. And then this picture here is the glyph of the sun archetype. And it's kin number 140. So this is the 140th expression of the creator out of 260. So when the synchronometer is synchronizing all of this, that synchronization is opening up our all-seeing eye. Now, why do I call it the all-seeing eye? Because the all-seeing eye can see all the memory, right? All the memories. You can see into the memory, right? And guess what? If you were to buy a computer today, you would not buy the one with the least amount of memory and the slowest processing speed. Everybody is knocking down Apple's door to get the next iPhone, the next Microsoft phone, the next Google phone, all this kind of stuff. Why? Because of the speed in the camera, right? And the processing ability and the storage. So your brain is the same way, right? So when we start synchronizing these cycles, it's opening up that all-seeing eye extremely wide to see what? Into the memory. The memory is said to be in the cerebellum. That's where all your memories. This is when somebody hit you in the back of the head, right? And knock you out, knock your memory out. You don't even know what happened when you get hit there, right? So you don't want to get hit there. You want to be able to tap in to this untapped psychic power there, so you could access different states of consciousness to help you in this reality where you are right now. And it's happening. It's not something that this is not something that is a dream or something that might happen. I've helped several people experience this, including myself. All right, so now we want to put the focus on and say, okay, we're on Kin 140. We're on the third day of this calendar. And I want to go back for one more second. The solar moon is the 9th moon, right? And you can kind of tell that by these dots. So there's 4 dots in the bar. Each dot is 1. The bar is 5. All right. The solar moon, the solar jaguar moon. Here's the question that it asks. That's what I like about these moons, y'all. And it gets your mind stimulated. How do I attain my purpose? How do you who are listening attain your purpose? Do you even know your purpose? Do you know your galactic purpose? If you don't, you don't need to waste no more time. You need to find out what that is right now. Because purpose is the most powerful force in the universe. Why? Because without purpose, none of it would exist. This makes a seed already sees itself, or an acorn already sees itself as a tree. It don't see itself as a seed. And so this brings in what we're going to talk about in the shadow is the self-image. It's going to determine the vision that you have and the vision that you can manifest. If you have a low self-image, you're not going to be able to manifest. You're just not. Okay? So with that being stated, let's go ahead and read about the 20th archetype, the 20th dynamic frequency of light on the galactic tree of light and life. All right, and part of the 140th expression of the Creator. It states, I am the enlightened one, right? Coded by the yellow sun. My number is 20, the universe totality. In meditation was I conceived, and from meditation was I born. And for long eons have I dwelt deep within this meditation. I am the higher truth and the renewer of life. I turn the cosmic wheel of the law of time, giving pure teachings among the stars. I am the harmonic keeper of the blazing fields of infinite light. Many names am I called, but they only name my outer form, my fiery cloak that you call the sun. The enlightenment of one is the enlightenment of all. I am the fulfillment of the prophecy of Hunaku. Awakening all beings simultaneously is my task. In many places have I awakened, and everywhere, every place I go, I know only by the name Tolan. Tolan of the awakened ones. To know me is to know the light of truth that illumines all beings. Whew. That's what I'm talking about. All right, so let's get enlightened. The affirmation for Kin 140 is called the Yellow Planetary. Planetary is a tone, and the sun is the dynamic frequency of light. We call the archetype. It says, I perfect in order to enlighten, producing light. I seal the matrix of universal fire with the planetary tone of manifestation. I am guided by the power of elegance, right? So I perfect in order to enlighten, producing life. I seal the matrix of universal fire with the planetary tone of manifestation. I am guided by the power of elegance. One more time to lock it in. I perfect in order to enlighten, producing life. I seal the matrix of universal fire with the planetary tone of manifestation. I am guided by the power of elegance. And I am a polar kin. I extend the yellow galactic spectrum of ripening. So everything we do, we have to establish a base of action. We have to extend the rhythm of action, right? Then we convert the action into what? Results. And then we transport it into our next experience. That's what everything we do. That's basic cosmic functionality of how things are working in them 4 phases, 4 seasons, etc., etc. So what we're perfecting, right, is the power of magic. And the power of magic is coming through mastering illusions. And so the illusions are here to bring us enlightenment. Illusions are anything that changes. And the purpose of illusions is to lead you on the path of enlightenment. It may be a lot to stomach pure consciousness, right down the hatch, right? But enlightenment produces life. You can produce a new life. The more enlightened you are, the more enhanced your life will be, and the more productive it will be at the same time, right? And so you can manifest with the power of the way shower, which if you know the way and you are the truth and you are the light, then now you can walk with elegance, like a cosmic swag that you got, because you already know what's going to happen, no matter how it currently looks. All right. So in lieu of that, as we continue to move forward with what we have going on, here also is what we call the Zolkin calendar. Those of you that are online can see this, and you can see it looks like a double helix. It looks like, I call it the galactic DNA. And there's so much anatomy that I can go in with this. I really don't have the time to do it now, but there are some times that I will, and I'll inform everybody when we're having such talks, so you can plug in if you like. But with this, you can see kin 140 is right at the bottom in the middle column, right? And these green areas are portals to our memory, to access memory, okay? As one of the primary functions of this, to practice take the spiritual practices of this calendar. This really was our journey of remembrance to getting here and accessing more memory and evolving from that memory in this physical body. Okay? I can't think of anything more important to do in this body than to evolve. And like I said, when I made that the number one priority, there's nothing that had power over me any longer. Not my mind, not my body, not nothing. And if the same thing happened for me, it can happen for you. Okay? So now we're going to move here. And so I kind of broke this out so you can see this is a picture of just the portals and the core. Now, these portals, there's 2 times during these 260 days that there's 10 portals in a row, 10 days in a row. And those are the 10 kin or 10 days that we want to really focus on tapping into our memory. Now, we just had a phenomenal session, series of portals on from February the 3rd to February the 12th. All right. And it was incredible. We got up at 4:41 every dawning and we did it. We did about an hour and a half to 2 hours of geometrical focus. And what we did is we restored the 441 years of memory from the initial flaw of the Gregorian calendar. Now, I'm going to tell you this, and you have to see research and see what it means to you. But I'm going to tell you what it means to me. When they started this calendar, they immediately skipped 10 days. Okay? So they started October 4th, 1582, and they moved right to October 15th the next day. Thursday was the 4th, Friday was the 15th. So there were 10 days that were skipped, blocked out. Now, what I did is recreated the calendar, what it would have been, the synchronometer, what it would have been if those days wasn't blocked out. And I made some incredible discoveries. And I shared those discoveries with the people. There's about 25 of us, okay? I shared those discoveries with the people that were in the meditation with us in the 441 hour. And they were blown away. Because who would have thought a calendar, a flawed calendar, could create a flawed mind? But look around. Look at what's going on in the world today. The technology is out of control. It's not supporting the earth. In fact, it's at the expense of the earth. The human race is more divided than ever before. Men and women are divided more than ever before. Women and children and men are divided more than ever before. And so what is going to unify us? First of all, what has us dismembered and what can unify us into remembrance? Well, we have found what we study is unifying us, starting with us, right? Putting us back together, right? The heart and mind is a great union to start with, right? So March 15th through March the 24th, we're going to be going through the future portals. That's where the orange is, for those of you that are online and can see. And those kin numbers, kins 146 to 155, is going to take place March 15th through March 24th. And we're going to do a similar meditation and practice that we did in the past. We had so much success with the past, but the future portals are going to be even better. You can be a part of this by plugging in with us. You can become a member of our I Am Infinitely Aligned Memories. What I Am stands for membership, and you can take care of those perks, but you can be on each session that we have every morning for 10 days straight and experience that. And the membership is only $33 a month. Okay, but that's 10 sessions. That is almost 2 hours each that you're going to be able to tap into. All right, now there's some people that they want to be a part. They want to have this as a part of their library, their Akashic library, the digital library, right? And those individuals, they're going to accept the coaching package, which they can take advantage of as well. That's only $111. So altogether it's $144. So you'll see more about that later. But the key is that if this is resonating with you, don't try to figure this out on your own. Don't try to compare. You don't got that kind of time and space to do that, right? Because there's other things that we got to do. Speed up time, right? Get focused. Become a part of the wedge of the geese that we got all flying and flapping off the wings of each other, and you'll have success a lot faster. All right. So we'll be also giving the we put out this replay. We had an incredible session on Thursday on introduction to the future portals. This is how we quantum leap into the new time. Now I'm only mentioning this because some of you that are listening to this for the first time, you're going to need a crash course on getting up to speed. All right, a lot of what I'm saying is not going to make sense to you right now. But I always say, don't let what you don't know stop you from what you do know. And if you know, right, that what you're doing isn't helping you evolve beyond your circumstances, you need to find something that will, and you need to do it fast because the world is changing very quickly. COVID was a great example of just how fast things can change and how that kind of disruption can prick the psyche in a way and create a lot of confusion very quickly. All right. All right. So I want to do the reading now, the reading of the Mayan Oracle. Okay. And in doing so, I have the book here. So I'm going to actually put this into this mode. Let's see what we got here. All right. So what we're going to do, this book is incredible. The Mayan Oracle. This is it. And it goes into each archetype in detail. I recommend that you get this book. Okay. This is not going to be taught in school. All right. You get this book. All right. So the archetype is the sun. Now, there's a couple of different names. The spiritual name for the sun is Ahau. All right. Like A-H-O-W. Ahau. Ahau. All right. It's spelled A-H-A-U, but it's pronounced Ahau. All right. Let's talk about the Mayan. The common Mayan usage is Lord, ruler, and flower. All right. The qualities, we all get excited about the qualities. Let's look at these qualities: union, wholeness, unconditional love, solar mastery, cosmic consciousness, language of light, ecstasy, limitless bliss, crown, solar logos. Okay. Also, the color is gold. The element is fire. The direction is south. Let's talk about the shadow wisdom. Now, this is my favorite part. And this is the part you want to focus in on because this is right here. The shadow is what's stopping you from getting you from where you are to where you want to be. I can show you time and time again that it's not you're not intelligent enough. It's not that you don't look good enough. It's not that you don't work hard enough. You might work too hard. That's why you're afraid you can't get it. And so you're blocking it. Right? So with this, the shadow wisdom says limiting definitions of self and the divine. Now, when you limit the definition of the divine, then you lack what we call primal trust. And this speaks to the emotional intelligence or the emotional unintelligence of where our consciousness is if we're in that state. All right. Loving conditionally with expectation and judgments. Shadow. Judgment is what blocks you or blocks abundance from flowing into your heart. If it can't flow into your heart, it can't flow into your experience because we are living out the self-image that we have in our heart. And then it says issues of ideals and identification. All right. So I call this issues, which is self-image, right? Your ideal of yourself and the ideals that come from the version of yourself of how you see it is going to determine what you can do in this life and what you can't do. The truth is, you can do anything. It's not a matter of can or can't. It's a matter of willingness. And that's what we want to focus in on. All right. So let's look at the shadow transformation. Being love's presence sets you free. right? Being love, it says being, not doing. You can't do love. You can't do peace. Be is divine decree, a divine decree to be, right? To know, to have, right? So it's a command. Also, examine your concepts of self and divinity. And if you examine that and you feel uneasy, then you may have some misalignments with your thought process and how that works for you or not works. Practice the art of acceptance and allowance in order to embody unconditional love. All right, practice that. That's key. All right. The affirmation is, I am a child of light, crowned with the self-authority and transparency of the divine child I know myself to be. Whew, that's powerful. You are the way, you are the truth, and you are the light. You just think that it's outside of yourself. And so therefore, we're in a state of amnesia. We haven't remembered that it's all connected to us just yet. All right. So what it says, what a blessing to receive a star glyph, a how, child of the sun. You are the solar consciousness. So this means the solar system is part of your mind. The cosmos, the universe is part of your mind. And your brain, as it remembers, is put back together, is able to process the consciousness as far as the cosmos can go, into infinitum. Right? This is what this is saying. The solar mind manifesting is a master with many names. You are the one who stands as the light to raise the consciousness for the many. If not you, then who? Who gonna be the one for your family? Who gonna be the one for your lineage? If not now, then when? And if not this, then what? Find something. But you wouldn't be watching this if you wasn't the one for your family and your lineage. You are the luminous triangle, the Trinity, made visible in this world of creation. You lift humanity simply through your embodiment of light. Know that you are divine. I am presence. There is no other. Okay? Bask in its replenished radiance. You are donning its light of limitless bliss. Know yourself as divine. Know that you are already the mind of light. Return as a divine child of the sacred to the great central sun. In your every thought and action, radiate your I am presence. Unconditionally accept yourself as you are. Craft your light body and return to a home in the stars that you never really left. Using the current of the Zavuya, the circuit by which all things return to themselves. Experience mystical reunion with the source of unity. Be at peace. Receiving a how indicates that the activation of your light body is already in progress. Stay identified with your solar mastery. Sail on golden solar currents to your home in the stars. Move joyfully towards whatever causes bliss and ecstasy to you. Forgive, release, and all love for beings, all creation as the conditional charis of the sun. Honor and trust the language of light held within your feelings, the spiritual compass that guides you home. Open your heart as a flower to the sun and become the same love that holds universes together. Become the same soul that's holding whole universes together. That's you, that's me, and we're connected in this moment. Now let's evolve together. So now I want to share something with you that's profound about self-image. To change your self-image, you have to move into self-acceptance. That is the key. And in self-acceptance, we're saying, I am the source and the creator of my own experience. that keeps you from being a victim of circumstance. I say, no, circumstances, get out of my way. I'm responsible for what I create. And when I'm responsible for what I create, I can change the creation. And it's not going to change me. How many of you, your circumstances are changing you? They're either making you better or they're making you bitter. You have a choice, right? You don't have to be at the mercy of your circumstances. So now I want to tell you about enlightenment. A lot of people I've coached say, yeah, I'm already at enlightenment. Well, this is a book called Power versus Force. All right. The hidden determinants of human fact. They have what's called a map of consciousness. And when I saw this calibrated, everything just sparked off for me. I saw the whole world in a kaleidoscope, the whole universe in a kaleidoscope. And I started to know what each state of consciousness magnetized and how you can go higher and higher. Wouldn't you like to know that? How to go higher and higher? Oh, let me guess. We are on here right now at 8:57 on a Saturday night saying, hey, Mr. Neb, however you pronounce your name, please show us how we can go lower and lower and lower. Nobody wakes up and says, hey, I can't wait to get ready to lose today. I can't wait to get ready to devolve today. We don't say that. Our heart is seeking the greatest expression of self, and we are looking to evolve more so now than ever before. So let's look at what it says about enlightenment in this book so you can get an idea of just how powerful what we're talking about and what we're teaching. It says, and it reads, energy levels of enlightenment is 700 to 1,000 on this logarithmic scale, right? This is the level of the great ones in history who have originated the spiritual patterns that countless people have followed throughout the ages. All are associated with divinity, with which they're often identified. This is the level of powerful inspiration. These beings set in place attractor energy field. This is the power of magnetism. They use the word attract, that influence all of womankind, woman and mankind. I use woman because in woman is man, and just man, there is no woman in it. All right, so all womankind is the whole planet. At this level, there is no longer the experience of an individual personal self separate from others. Oh, what would that be like? That every move you make is for the benefit or the failure of all of humanity, not just you. Right? Rather, there is an identification of self with consciousness and divinity. The unmanifest is experienced as the self, the power of God beyond the mind. That's what the unmanifest is. And then it comes to you, is attracted to you to manifest it on what? The material plane, the gravitational plane that we call the earth. This transcendence of the ego also serves by example to teach others how it can eventually be accomplished. This is the peak of the evolution of the consciousness of the human realm. And now we're making a shift to the telepathic age. Great teachings uplift the masses and raise the level of awareness of all humanity. Now, let me just say this to you. Once you are aware, awareness is the key to change. So if you speak to me that you're aware of something that's stopping you and you don't remove it, you're okay with it. Even though you might be saying you're not. Because once you're aware, all you have to do is ask and the instructions will be given to remove it. But you just have to remove fear, which may be blocking you from removing it because of the responsibility that success has in your life, right? To have such a vision is called grace, and the gift that it brings is infinite peace, described as undefinable in words. At this level of realization, the sense of one's existence transcends all time, all evolution of consciousness, and individuality. There's no longer any identification with the physical body as just me, and therefore its fate is of no concern. The body is seen merely as a tool of consciousness through the intervention of mind. Its prime value, that of the communication, the self merges back into the self or the source of all creation. This is the level of non-duality or complete oneness. There is no localization of consciousness. Awareness is equally present everywhere. Great works of art depicting individuals who reach the level of enlightenment characteristically show the teacher with the specific hand position called a mudra, right? Where in the palm of the hand radiates benediction. This is the act of transmitting this energy field to the consciousness of womankind. This is the level of divine grace, which calibrates up to 1,000 on the calibration scale, the highest attained by anybody who has lived in recorded history. So these are the individuals, great shaman, the stories of Buddha, Krishna, Christ consciousness. These are the states of consciousness that you reach in order to and get to these levels. And so the individuals who are enlightened that are being said that they can move 1 million people's consciousness at one time just with their presence. This is what we're all seeking. And in the synchronistic school of enlightenment, this is what we're teaching. We're teaching the tools that have helped us evolve and expand. And we want to show the same thing to others. Now, I went over a lot today. This is our last session. We did 21 straight with the leap day. And so now you got a question to ask yourself, because that means that I've done 21 hours on here. Okay. And I did it because I love to see people empower themselves, because I think that as a human psyche right now, we're in one of our lowest dispositions, subservient to technology. Subservient to technology. And so now we have to take our rightful place in this field of consciousness and remember the power and the essence of the creator that we are. All right. And so what I'm telling you is, if your self-image, once I expanded my self-image, in other words, I didn't see myself as this physical body and what I could do. I'm not a human doing. All right. I saw myself in the image of the creator. And as I saw that, I said, this is the image that I'm following. This infinite power is what I'm going to confide in. This infinite power is how I'm going to see myself. That means I can manifest any vision that comes in my mind. If I can, conceive it and believe it, I can achieve it. And that's why. Because I already have programmed in my mind that whatever the vision is, I can accomplish it. Because I got this unlimited power of God in me, and I know it's working on my behalf. And the same thing happens for you if you allow it. Now, most of us won't allow it because we're on a program, a linear program, that has us operated as a limited version of ourselves, a fraction. And so you want to now become a whole being and operate in your true nature. And this way, the power of synchronicity will work on your behold and help be the ground that appears beneath your feet when you're going from where you are now to where you want to be. We're in an excellent position to move in places and spaces we haven't been. So what I want to tell you, just a couple of announcements before we go. I want you to definitely take time to join us. If you're on here, you're hearing this, you can join us tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to be having a really great talk on how to release the unevolved self, the unevolved being. This is the one that keeps you from moving forward. All right. So you can see the links in the chat. Join us. You can be our guest. If you message us, we're going to give you the password. You have to have a password to get in, so we're not going to give that publicly. But you have to reach out and let us know you want to be on. And you can be our guest now. Next Sunday is going to be for our members only. So you have a chance to get on and listen and see if you want to be a member. And if you do, you get the exclusive knowledge and information that we have while we're in these portals. Okay. Next announcement. We just started and reloaded our fast, our cleanse. So we did one in what we call the resonant moon, and that was from January 10th to February 6th. And many of us lost 20, 25 pounds, had clarity out. I mean, it was just amazing, an amazing time for me. And for what I understand, an amazing time for countless other people. We had about 20 some people that did the fast. Okay. So you got the opportunity to do it now. Okay. So take advantage of it and be thinking about, how do I obtain my purpose? The I Am membership. Now, some of you may join us tomorrow. Some of you said, this sounds good enough for me. I mean, it's just $33. I'll go ahead and get on the membership and see what it's all about. If I don't like it, I can give it back. Well, as soon as you do that, you get the benefits of being on the membership, and anything else that you like at the school, you can get up to 20% discounts, etc. So it's a great offering. Take advantage of it. It won't always be what it is right now. All right. So with that being said, it has truly been my pleasure as well as a privilege on this journey of the archetypes. Now, we're going to be every Wednesday. We'll be doing this. Won't be doing it every day, but we're going to be doing something called Sync Talk, Synchronistic Talk. And this is where we're going to have different topics that we're going to talk about every Wednesday. And we're going to tie in this platform this way. And we're going to be able to touch one heart and one mind at a time around the world. It's going to be phenomenal for something to be a part of. So with that being said, this is going to conclude our session. You can email me at nebtaharka@synchronicityhuman.com. If you got any questions, I'd love to answer your questions and help you make an informed decision about how to move through evolution in your life. All right. And with that being said, I like to say, in Lakesh, I am another you. Ah, Lakim, you are another me. Hotep, Hetepu, and Namaste. And remember, evolution is the solution. Thanks for listening. I look forward to seeing you on the horizon of evolution, and I look forward to connecting with you soon. Peace.